Hi, I'm Kate Lehman, and this is my reflection over the differentiated instruction lesson that I taught this morning. My lesson that I recorded was of our group reading time, and that's kind of when we try and touch on everything that has to do with reading. Today we did a little bit of long O, a little bit of adjectives, and then talked about our science unit. And the science unit was how I did my main differentiated instruction. To know the whole story, right now we're in a big science unit about the moon, stars, and sun. So first thing this morning for bell work, students had to color a picture, I think it was, over daytime and nighttime. They colored the differences, so they made the sun on one side and the moon on the other side. And so that was the first part. That's how we opened up our lesson. And then during shared reading time, we read that book, I'll Catch the Moon. I fast forwarded through when I read it because it was kind of a boring book. But a lot of students really enjoyed getting the literature part of it. That's a really good way for them to learn. And then later that day, we did a science unit over it. And we had a bowl of flour, and we kind of showed like the different craters on the moon and stuff like that for our more hands-on learners. So that was how we had kind of differentiated our instruction for this unit. I thought it went really well because we had methods for each of our learners. We had some hands-on things, some audio things, some visual aids. So all of our different types of learners got a little bit of instruction, and I think they all picked up on this unit really, really well. I was impressed so far how it went. And then I also tried to incorporate a little bit of music into it. When we got to our adjectives, we sang our adjective songs, and then later on in that unit, I had cut the video off already, we talked about the moon, and we described the moon and different adjectives for it, and kind of sang another song. And then we sang The Cow Jumped Over the Moon, Fish in a Bowl, and all that stuff. That cartoon, we sang that. And so I tried to include music into it and some hands-on stuff like that. And then we also have a physical activity we'll do with it later on in the week, so that should be really good for the kids. Discuss any challenges. I didn't have very many challenges in this lesson. It actually went really well. Mainly it was my classroom management. The three kids in my middle row that kept hitting each other, that was definitely my biggest challenge. I should have moved the child in the striped shirt way before I did, but he seems to have problems no matter where he sits. He has very severe ADD that's undiagnosed and not medicated, so sometimes we have rough days. Today was a rough day with him. So I could have done that much better. I should have moved him to the back or to the front way sooner than I did. He wasn't raising his hand. He wasn't respecting his neighbor. He wasn't sitting crisscross applesauce. The focus, when I watched my video, the focus didn't look very good, but that's not how I felt during the lesson. During the lesson, I thought I had their attention pretty well. So I'm not sure if it just kind of looked bad and they just needed to move to pay attention, but I didn't like how jittery they looked, and I didn't realize that during my lesson that they looked so jittery. I'll have to watch out for that in the future. Also in the future, I'll probably do more back-to-back things. So after that reading unit, the students went to PE today, and I would have liked to just go straight into the science unit where we talked about the moon and how it looked kind of. I think that would have been really good for them, because when we got back for science, the unit went really good, but we had to go back and touch on everything. We had to go back and talk about the book and the moon and how you can't really build a ladder to the moon and how far away it is. And students don't really understand yet how far away the moon is from Earth. I mean, those numbers just don't make sense to them. So that was tough during our science lesson. I also probably would have chose a book that maybe was a little bit more, that was real, that wasn't fiction, because I think some of the kids got a little bit confused by the building the ladder part, because some of them were like, well, let's go build a ladder. And I was like, well, you can't actually build a ladder to the moon. And they didn't quite get that. I was kind of surprised that they didn't understand that. So I would have chosen a different book, I think, if I could go back to tie it into my science unit. But overall, I was pleased with how the reading part of the unit went. I didn't think it was bad. And I think that's all. Thanks.